How did I go from being a primary school teacher to wanting to homeschool my kids? This may get a little bit controversial, so stick around to the end. So growing up, I always loved kids and I really enjoyed my time at school, especially all of the extracurricular things I did in high school and also just being a part of a big community. After school, I went to study teaching for 4 years and got my bachelor's in primary education. At uni, I was really interested in learning about child development and especially all the topics around social and emotional well-being. I finished my degree in 2017 and started full-time work, where I mainly worked in the junior primary area for 4 years. And I should say a key thing is that my last year was 2020 when COVID happened, and I was able to get a little bit of insight into home learning. So at-home learning was one of the first things that got me interested in homeschool because it became so clear that students were able to get so much more learning done at home in such a shorter period of time. And I also saw a lot of kids really thriving with that one-on-one time with their parents and having all this extra time to learn about topics more deeply or to play or to follow their own interests. And I know that wasn't the case for all students, and it was mainly for the students that had engaged and supportive parents, but it just really highlighted how much time wasting happens in a school day. So I had my daughter at the beginning of 2021, which started a whole other healing journey of my inner child that I won't go into right now. But while I was learning all of these things about myself, one of the things I learnt about the world is that things aren't as black and white as they seem. There's a lot of grey area. I learnt so much more about mindfulness and how important our mindset is and how we approach failure and how we approach our thought patterns. And basically I started treating myself how I treat my daughters and want to treat my daughters. So then I started seeing contrasts of that with the schooling system, because I find school really does prime you for that black and white thinking. I mean, there's a right and wrong answer, there's failure or success, there's punishment and rewards. And the sad part is a lot of kids then attach their value to these things and then decide that they are either a good or a bad kid. Some kids just aren't suited for the school environment. They struggle to sit still, they struggle to focus in a classroom setting. And those are often the kids that then start to view themselves as failures. They're forming their identity, but it's actually the school system that's failing them. We really should be concerned with kids' mental health. I've seen so many kids who are absolutely miserable and they're younger than even 10. I actually wasn't one of those students that struggled at school. I was a bit of a teacher's pet and I really enjoyed school. I would get a kick out of getting good grades, and just pleasing the teacher was enough to motivate me to try and to learn. But now I struggle with people-pleasing tendencies and placing my worth in what I'm doing and how good of a job I am doing at it. So yes, I do think the school system is great for certain kinds of kids, but I don't think this black and white thinking is good for anyone. And so many kids aren't suited to school and they're forming their identity as failures in life. I'm not saying the school system has to be completely done away with, and I do think that there are some really great teachers out there that are really aware of what students need, and they're doing their best within the parameters of the system. But I am saying that we need some alternatives, and the one-size-fits-all model just isn't cutting it. Differentiation isn't enough. The current school model is to prepare students for work. Just the other day I was looking up statistics about students who feel prepared for life after school, and the first few studies that came up were all about work and whether students felt prepared for work, not life. As if work is all we're made for. Life is so much more than work. What about feeling prepared to follow your passions and dreams? What about creativity, entrepreneurship, investing? What about knowing how to face failure, regulating your emotions, communicating appropriately? The school system prepares us to apply for jobs and to be a worker. I mean, after all, it is based off of the Prussian model. At the end of the day, for a lot of people, school isn't there to teach you how to think. And I will reiterate again, I do think that there are many great teachers out there that want students to form their own opinions about things and want to teach students how to think. And many teachers agree with me, and they're trying to infiltrate the system from the inside out, and honestly, I applaud them. And I feel this to an extent as a relief teacher, like I want to do what I can on the days that I am with students. But I'm unsure at this point if I'll ever be able to be a full-time classroom teacher again, just because my beliefs are not aligning with the system. So for me, homeschooling my girls makes the most sense. One of the benefits of being a teacher is that I'm constantly seeing the learning opportunities just in day-to-day life. And honestly, all kids want to do is to fix real life problems. They want to feel valuable, they want to feel needed, and they want to make a difference. At school, they see through the tests, they see through the assignments, they know that it's not adding any value to the world. And we wonder why we hear so often, "This is so pointless," from kids about their homework. Yes, there are kids that thrive off of pleasing the teacher and seem to enjoy their schoolwork, but are they actually learning anything? And the lesson behind what they're learning, is that harmful or helpful? There are so many great things about schools, especially when it comes to extracurricular, the community, of course learning the basics like reading and writing. But there is so much wasted time. As a relief teacher, when I look around different classrooms, I think whether I would want my girls to be in that environment 5 days a week. And 9 times out of 10, I think, no, I'd prefer them to be home with me. So I hope that gives you a little bit of insight on how I've gone from a primary school teacher to now wanting to homeschool my own kids. If you liked this longer form content, please let me know by leaving a little heart below. It's okay if you don't agree with me, I just wanted to share a little bit more about my journey. Any comments or questions, leave them below, and I'll see you next time. Bye!